My name is Dawn Marie, and this is DM's Crafty Vortex. This is my show mostly about cross stitch with some yarn and a little bit of sewing thrown in towards the end. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. If you are new to my channel, thank you so much for stopping by and giving me a try. I recently had a couple of people tell me that one of their favorite parts about my channel is the outtakes at the end. The good part about that means they're watching all the way to the end to see the outtakes. I would hope that maybe the crafty cross-stitch stuff would be their favorite part, but hey, if you're watching and you're making it to the end, you must have found something else that you like. My goal is actually to make it all the way through this without having any outtakes, but seeing as that hasn't happened yet, we might as well throw those outtakes on in. So let's get started. I didn't get as much stitching done this week as I wanted to, but I did get up a couple of extra videos. I did one video which was an audition to the Black Needle Society. They are looking for reps and VIPs, which is a rep will get one of their boxes and they do unboxing on their channel for everybody to see. I have bought the boxes, so whether they pick me as a rep or not, I am hoping to do some unboxings on my channel. But excited about the opportunity to try and be one of their reps. I also put up a tutorial, as I had promised in a couple of past videos, about how to make my bags. So if you look at my channel, I'm going to try and do a little link up above on how to get to that tutorial, but not quite sure if I know how to do that yet. So if there's no link up above, just check out my channel. I don't have many videos up yet, so it should be pretty easy to find. It is a step-by-step tutorial, so if you watch it, hopefully you'll be able to make a bag that you can enjoy for all your cross-stitching. If you're not a sewer, that's no problem either. Hop on Etsy, you can check out my shop and buy a bag. If you don't want to buy a bag from me, there are many other people on Etsy also selling bags, so if sewing's not your thing, there are many other people selling their bags that you can just feel free to go on over and buy one, and everybody can enjoy having a fun cross-stitch bag for their projects. I have also been working on a prototype for a new thing to add to my shop. I call it the Everything Floss Book, and I'm going to insert a little video right here just showing the book, as I don't have one on hand right now. These do take a while to make, so what I think I'm going to do is in my shop just throw up some fabric choices, and then if somebody buys the Everything Floss Book, then I'll make one when it's ordered on demand versus having a bunch in my shop ready to ship. So stay tuned for that video. Here's the prototype I've been working on in my shop. I think I'm going to call it the Everything Floss Book. So what this is if you open it up, you have a pocket right here that you can put your pattern in or your fabric, whatever you want to put right in there. Then when you open this up, you have a spot for all your threads that are on spools. And you have a zippered compartment right here. Then you have a spot for your flosses that you hang. This is some felt, so that you can just put loose flosses right here. And then if you want to put your DMCs on bobbins, you have a spot right there. And then you have everything all together. And then you just fold it up. And you're ready to go. And we're back. I hope you enjoyed the book. It was fun to make and fun to design. I am making one right now, which I am going to send to Michelle over at Michelle Bendy Stitchy, and that will end up in one of her auctions. After that happens, at that point, I'll add it to my shop for people to buy. So let's get started on the stitching. My first thing that I'm going to show is, I'm going to call it a finish. It's not actually finished, but it is a weekly subscription from the Fat Quarter Shop called Fright Night. So every Friday they send us a clue and we stitch it up. This is week 2 I've done so far. Week 3 comes out tomorrow. So I have been keeping up. So I'm calling it a mini finish because I've done everything I can for the week. So this is called Fright Night. And again, it's from the Fat Quarter Shop. Last week I had Halloween done. I had the spider web and the spider. So this week we did the moon and the bat. That was a lot of white stitching, but I was able to do it. I'm very excited tomorrow to see what the next clue is. This is done on, oops, sorry for the jiggle there, on Hazy Gray 14 count Aida, and the little needle minder is this little pumpkin. That also came from the Fat Quarter Shop. So I'm calling it a finish because I'm done for the week until the next clue comes out tomorrow, and then I will work on that. My goal for the week is always to work on Fright Night until it's done, and then I move on to a secondary project, which is usually a little mini at this point, and I finish that up, and then I work into my rotations. So this week's mini was something you've seen before. It's Happiness is Homemade. Now I did make this and I showed it on one of my first videos. So here's the one that I had made, the first video. This was done on 14 count and this is done on 18 count. So you can kind of see the difference in size. Isn't that cute? So this is considered finished. It's not going to be fully finished. It's going to go out in the mail, so it's going to stay as is. And then next week you should be seeing another one of these from me in a different color. So this one, as I said, is 18 count and it's just black Aida that I picked up. And this one was 14 count black Aida. The other thing I worked on, you've seen every single week. This is my Little Things Too, which I'm making for my best friend Amy. And there's that. This is what it looked like last week. I did not get much done on this at all. Again, as I said, I was a very busy week putting up the 2 other videos, and I did a lot of sewing this week, but I got things added. That is the only difference you'll see this week from last week. I didn't work on this block at all. I just wanted something that actually showed some progress, so I did a backstitch one of the words in. But it was a little progress. It was touched, so we're going to call that a win. And then the next project I worked on, again, I only got to work on it a little bit. This is the project that I have at work. I only worked at my place for a couple of days this week, and then I worked someplace else for a few days, so I didn't have this with me to work on. One of my goals for the video this week is to try to look at the camera. If my eyes stray, it's because I keep looking at myself in the screen. And if you look at your video versus the little lens, it actually makes it look like you're looking off to the side. So I apologize when I kind of look like I'm talking off into space. But this is what I've been bringing to work. So I got the in and the done for this week. I'm not going to show up above what it looked like last week. It's just words. This is what it's going to look like when it's done. And this was bought for me by one of my daughters. It is full coverage, so there's a little bit more work to it than I originally thought when I pulled it out. I didn't realize I was working on a full coverage mini until I started looking at all the colors and the directions. The needle minder is just a button that I bought at Walmart and glued a couple of magnets onto it. And I'm using all the called for, so it's just white Aida and whatever floss came in the kit. The next project I'm working on is a stitch along that's being done in a Facebook group I'm on, which is 911 Stitcher. And this is the autumn alphabet. I'm not using the calls for colors on everything. There's blue pumpkin here, if you buy the called for colors, the called for color is actually green, and I really love the blue, so I kind of mixed up some colors myself to get that going. And then the color around it is actually a dark green, which didn't look very good next to the blue, so again, I kind of played around with colors to get what I liked. So for everything else, I'm trying to stick with the called for colors. The fabric I used is fabric that I've dyed up myself as well. If you look above, you'll see what this looked like last week. So here we are. So this week, I just wanted to show you, here is the called for color for the pumpkin, which you can see definitely is not very blue. And it is the Bayberry from Gentle Arts. So this did not get used. Let me just, there you go. And what I ended up using instead was, I mixed two DMC colors up. I used 3761 and and 3766. So I mixed these two colors together, hoping to get a little bit of a variegated look to it. And that's getting blown out a little bit. Let's see. There we go. And then for the color around the pumpkin, I took the 3761 and I mixed it, one strand of DMC with one strand of the called for Otter Creek 7092. So I took these two colors and I mixed them together to lighten this color up a little bit. And then there, that's what that looks like. The twirls around the edge and the cat, those were the called for colors for the pattern. So I'm having a lot of fun on that. Again, not as much done as I wanted, but again, it's been a very busy week. That is everything from my stitching this week. However, I did get some fun stitch email in. My best friend Amy, who I showed that I was making the pattern for earlier, surprised me. I mentioned in a prior video that she decided to take up cross stitching after watching my videos, and she sent me this in the mail. This was completely unexpected, but I received this. Isn't that beautiful? We've always grown up, had a thing where anything I sent her had dolphins, anything she sent me had butterflies, and we've got a couple of things made together that had dolphins and butterflies together. So after all these years, she still remembered and cross-stitched up that beautiful butterfly for me. I will hopefully have that fully finished for the next video, and I'll be able to show that then. Another thing I mentioned is that my fiance decided he was going to try his hand at cross-stitching, which completely floored me, but I immediately ran out and bought him the supplies before he changed his mind. And he is going to do this one right here. He is a Cowboys fan. No hating on the Cowboys if you don't like them. Let's just be excited that he's cross-stitching. I actually personally do like the Cowboys as well, which is funny. Being from Maine and us meeting each other and both being Cowboys fans is a little unusual. But he did start stitching, and this is where he is at right now. He started at the bottom and he's working on the grass. So one of the things I said I'd been doing this week is sewing. I did a tutorial on a bag, and this is the bag I did the tutorial on. This was fabric my daughter picked out. I was going to do the tutorial with a different fabric, but I figured I would do it with the bag that I needed to get made. So my tutorial has the bag with the handle. And I did throw in the second pocket into the tutorial, which you can make or you don't have to make, but so step-by-step directions on how to make this. And then, as I said, my friend Amy got into stitching, so of course she needs a stitching bag. So I made her this bag, minus the cat fur. And this has the dolphin fabric. So I did a fun little change up on her bag, in that the interior pocket is a third color. So this got sent out in the mail to her. And that's it for all my cross stitch stuff. We're now going to move on to my yarn Halloween advent. If you're only here for cross stitch, thank you so much for stopping by. If you're here for all the crafts, then let's get on to the yarn. And we're back with the yarn. Last week I wasn't sure what the name of this advent was, but I had a couple of people reach out to me and tell me it was the Nightmare Before Christmas. I opened 1 through 8, so today we're going to start with 9. I actually have had such a busy week that I haven't opened any of them, so I was going to wait, and we'll all see them for the first time right now. So here is 9. Which is Sandy Claus. Oh, look at that. That is beautiful. And then number 10. Oogie Boogie. That's really pretty. I've never seen The Nightmare Before Christmas, so I am sure these would all mean something to somebody who's actually seen the show. But I just know I'm getting beautiful yarn. Number 11. Making Christmas. This has a lot of beautiful colors in it. This kind of puts the whole set together, I think. There we go. Look at that. Day 12. Santa Jack. Oh, this is, I think, one of my favorites. Look at how pretty that is. It's actually a little bit darker. It's getting not quite as bright as it's showing up on the camera, but oh. And then the last one, day 13. My bugs, my bugs. Again, I think if I saw the show, this would mean something to me, but it is beautiful yarn. So that is my 13-day advent from Cherry Creek Cottage. Okay, say that really fast. And I'll put the link down below to her. And that is it for my, we had some technical difficulties with a kitty deciding to eat a pattern. So that's it for all my cross stitching and crafty adventures. I will see you next week, and happy crafting. We're just going to ignore all the noise of the things falling on the floor. And we're back with the yarn. And as usual, I'm looking in the wrong spot. Let's try again. So that's my 13-day advent from Cherry Creek. Words. How hard are they?